Okay, it is that spooky time of the month. I believe, if my numbers are correct, that this is the show that you see before Halloween. On Halloween Day, which is a week from today, I'll be recording another one. So, but by the time you saw that one, it'd be after Halloween. So, happy Halloween to all of you. It is no surprise that the Raven is her favorite holiday. So much so that this is the time of year that, of course, a lot of spiders make their webs, right? And we give the spiders a pass. If there's a web somewhere, then we work around it. Even if it's in the house, we let them live. And yeah, provided they're not the bad ones. The Joris spiders, have you ever seen those? They have invaded, and they're the most invasive spider, and it probably wouldn't hurt at all if people, went the way of getting rid of them. But there's no getting rid of them. They're already so invasive. So anyway, this is the show that you never know what's going to come out of my mouth. It wasn't spiders, but that is what makes and sets us apart from any other show you're going to watch. Today is going to be a great day. It's going to be a good day, Anthony, a really good day. For those of you that are Twilight Zone fans, you'll know exactly the episode I'm talking about. Today is going to be a good day. The show is going to be a great show. So I went mining down the hallway again. It would be, I'm not even going to tell you. You're going to get to see what I discovered today. Well, this past week. And I had wondered where they went. And I found them. Also, well done to all of you on the What Is This Trivia contest. The 6 minerals, I made them harder. And I was really surprised at how well all of you did. So let's get to those comments so we can get to the show. Okay, so starting off with Mr. Anthony from Massachusetts. Hello all, another great show. The crystals you grew, the color came out amazing. Thanks for showing that. And if we put a fluorescent light to it, those crystals glow a beautiful orange color, an orange-pink color, beautiful fluorescence to them. And so I'm going to use those as seed crystals to grow some others. So this is our house. So you walk in, and of course there's a table, nothing but rocks, but past that. All right, so you get to the living room. The nightstand on the living room, and it's just acceptable. It is my crystal growing project. I'm just glad the cat that leaves it alone. Yeah, so right there, watching TV and crystals growing behind you, and the crystal growing. We're empty nesters, so there's no children involved, so we can have chemicals all over the place. And the neat thing is, of course, Raven, she just loves it. She loves it all. Grow crystals wherever you want. That's when we have mutual passions. If you can find anyone else in your life that has the same passion as you, it can really make life easier because you don't have someone telling you, oh, put that up, or go take that to your office, or however way, you can imagine that would go. It's more like, wow, that's really cool. What are you going to grow next? And, we'll just set it up at the other end of the table at the other end. Remember, this is the woman that 1-inch ledge that you have on the backsplash behind your kitchen, that little backsplash, and there's that little edge about 1 inch wide ledge, I guess it is. And of course, I had hundreds of Oko geodes. That's those little world's smallest geode with the plume agate. Beautiful. And she put them and lined the entire edge of the kitchen with those. I thought it was gorgeous. I mean, it was really gorgeous. But if a realtor came into our home, you know what they would say. Minimalist. Clean everything up. Don't leave any of this out. Just, only a few things. And maybe that's true, but I'd rather not sell the house and pack up my rocks and minerals. Okay, let's get going before I vector off in another direction. Mr. Anthony in Massachusetts. Hello all, another great show. What am I? So, he has double refractive calcite, imperial topaz, aventurine. So far, so good there, Mr. Anthony. Number 4, which is the greenish colored one. Now, that mint green one, if you think about it, it can only be so many things. And remember I said everything that I was showing you would be familiar with. So, mint green apophyllite would certainly be in that realm of items I had shown before. But there's not too many choices. So that was an excellent answer, but not the one that matches up with that particular piece. That particular piece was what we call a crumb. It just happened to break off from a larger piece. And the answer is prehnite. That is prehnite. We'll see if we can't give you a close-in look of it to show you the pearlescence of it. So it is the form of prehnite that looks like micaceous lepidolite. And prehnite will form in that where it has a pearlescent type of surface and that color, and with that translucent nature to prehnite, where it's never perfectly clear, like rose quartz. I've got a really cool rose quartz from the hog mine. I'm going to show you a piece today carved into a frog. It's really cool. I forgot I had it. So that was number 4. Number 5, obsidian, possibly silver sheen. Right on the money. Good job. That's exactly what that piece was. I'll show all these to you. And the last one, which I really thought would be difficult, he nails it. I'm going with fluorite crystal. In parentheses, he puts, I was thinking sphene possibly. No, he had it right the first time. Well done. So, oh, by the way, did you notice I've been wearing the owl? Mr. Anthony had made that with Savarite eyes, and I have the owl bracelet I'm wearing today. So that's my totem animal. That's my, yeah, the animal I relate to. And, so that's cool. That's cool. And the Savarites, of course, are my birthstone. And by the way, today, you're going to get to see some birthstones of mine. Eyes down as Mr. Anthony finishes. So 5 out of 6. Well done. That's incredible. That's what won it last time we did this. Miss Gabby won it with 5 out of 6. Let's see how that goes. So speaking of Miss Gabby, she's next. Greeting, Rock family, once again from North Georgia. Absolutely glorious weather this week. Love it. I guess it is, Miss Gabby, for you coming from Florida. And that's after spending all that time in Florida. That's what I missed and wanted the most, was a change of seasons, you know, change of leaves, and in Florida you just don't get that so much. And so glad to see that you made it up here for the leaf season. Noticed you trimmed up your tresses. Look at that. So she's the first one, only one of those. That was over 6 inches, and you know, I told Raven to cut it, and when I saw it hit the floor, I said, wow, that's a lot of hair. She goes, well, you said 6 inches, but you know, it grows back. So great job noticing that. I need to do the same here. Been meaning to mention, when beads or pearls are twisted together, it's called a torsade. But I'm sure you knew that. You sure? Actually, and I was discussing this with Kevin from Inventory. The Kevin, the magician, the fixer of all. And I told him that, and I asked him, because he inventory for all the other dealers, and he said he'd never heard that term used before. And I'm going to be honest, I hadn't either. If I'm thinking when I did, and I asked him the year, and I told him, I said, I bet you weren't even born yet, and it made me feel terrible. He wasn't. 1984, in the year of 83, 84, right in there, fossil beads. They were the hit. And they were, of course, man-made and different little colors, and they were about 3 millimeters. And they were inexpensive, you know, maybe only $3, $4, $5 a strand. I made a bunch of money. That was my first jewelry store I had when I was selling them. And you would twist them up, and that's how you sold them, because the minimum, because the cost you'd sell them was like 10 at a time kind of thing. And so maybe I heard it then, but I just was not familiar with that word. So, you know, I learned something. Well done. But being a guy, you know, I'll probably just twist them up and say, now if you twist these up like this, torsade. I'll remember that. Thanks for the discussion on floaters. I've often wondered about that. Can't believe it never came up in one of our geek discussions. Have to participate in my favorite trivia type. I know everybody said this was their favorite type of trivia. So first one saying selenite. That, of course, selenite looks exactly like it. But what gives it away, and I almost did this if I put letters behind it. Did I do that? Well, I was showing somebody, and it's so doubly refractive, it would give it away. Also, though, the crystal form, the three-dimensional parallelogram is the easiest way to call it, and that is always indicative of a calcite, or other. I'm thinking some other minerals, dolomite can form like that. But that is a super clear piece of optical calcite, or Iceland spar is the other name. And that is one of those minerals you can use for polarized light and navigation, all kinds of neat things. So let's see, topaz. Wow, getting the second one right. Aventurine, getting that right. Prehnite, whoa, you got the prehnite right. Obsidian and peridot. Wouldn't that be a huge peridot? But that is a very good answer, because I've actually seen more massive versus crystallized forms of peridot that look very similar to that. It's just that it's a big piece, which makes it a little bit unusual, because I probably would have offered it for sale. But fluorite. So 4 out of 6 there. Well done, because even your answers, to all of you, if they're incorrect, well, it's making you think, and you're really getting it close. Because if you listed the possibilities, your answers will be right in that realm of other minerals that it can be confused with. And so, great job on that. Miss Cindy in Pennsylvania. Hello, Rock family. Another great show. Pages of notes written. I'm about 2.5 hours away from those antigerite mines. I was thinking about you, Miss Cindy, when I saw the location being Pennsylvania and the Line Pit mine, how far away that was from you, because that's some incredible quality antigerite. Thank you so very much for bestowing me with a trivia prize of such wonderful specimens. No Arkansas quartz in my collection. No Arkansas quartz. How can you not have a made in America quartz piece? So I'm glad I could add to that. And of course, those are my two collections I focused on, was the birthstone, January birthstone, and the anything made in America. In other words, minerals from America. I adore any Moroccan specimens, but an azurite crystal is wow. Yep, that's azurite crystal was one I used for an example of a floater crystal, and then showed how that can happen by when you saw in the liquid some other material suspended in it. Now remember, all it takes is anything suspended for some of the molecules that are in the solution, whether it's a hot hydrothermal solution, or to attach themselves and start building onto whether it be an impurity, whatever it may be, and then all of a sudden it can grow, get heavy enough and drop to the bottom, but it continues to grow without ever bonding or attaching to a matrix surface or another crystalline surface, as you saw. How that can happen, like the pieces coming off the side. So those are basically acted as seed crystals, and then they continue to attach the molecules and grow on them. Or even in the bottom of it, you saw that not all those crystals were attached to each other. Some were just started growing loose. And so you have 3 different ways that something can become a floater. Just a loose crystal in the bottom growing without having attached, by other crystals sloughing off from, let's say, the lining of a pocket that solutions are running through. And so once they slough off, then the molecules and atoms start building and attaching on to that loose piece. And it disguises itself in whatever it might have looked like that. A thin crystal, doesn't matter. All it takes is a few molecules for others to start building and attaching onto it. And then any of the original, like that piece that's left off the side, gets lost in the growth of the rest of it around it. And so there you go. And or then you saw those odd cloud-like suspended material in it, which could be a very porous type of formation of the same mineral, and in time maybe it would build, we'll see, upon it, and then the weight pulls it down, but it continues to grow. Just like that cool azurite crystal, which of course had crystallization on all sides of it. So that was a neat piece. And I'm glad you like Moroccan specimens. I do have tangerine quartz, but from Brazil, thanks to you. So now from Tanzania, another of my favorite localities. I just love the African and Russian minerals for some reason. Wait till you see today. I really enjoy the what am I. See, everybody does. I have to admit, it is hard to get all the nuances of color, shape, translucence, inclusions from the screen, etc. But it is fun trying. And that's the whole idea. I mean, not everyone gets everything right. I certainly don't. But that's how you learn. And so many times, think about it, that you buy something, including right here, without ever getting to touch it or feel the weight of it. Even smell it. Yeah. I mean, you know, if you want to determine whether a piece of sulfur is genuine sulfur, so you get to use all your senses if you're holding something in your hand or or at a show. In this environment, you are acting only on sight and sound, what I'm saying and what it looks like, and versus all the other senses that you can use when you're in the physical presence of it. So you're right, it can be difficult, but that is how you learn, is by exactly doing this. And of course, when you can't hold it, you know, to get 6 out of 6 would be, and that's why instead I was using 3, but no, 3 was not enough. To get a better feel, it takes more specimens. So let's see how you did. Optical calcite, well done, / Iceland spar, exactly. Number 2, rutilated quartz, you got the color right, and some of, you know, it could have been said as chlorite and quartz because it kind of looks like that, but a great answer, but not exactly correct. Remember, it was last time we did this, I had a bigger crystal of the topaz, but it showed more of the topaz. So, but this is very similar. So I was thinking that, you know, memory would kick in. Aventurine, you got that right. Prehnite, wow, that's a tough one. Good job on that. Silver sheen obsidian. I really didn't think all of you would get the obsidian one right. Well done. And then fluorite, nailed that. So 5 out of 6, tie with Mr. Anthony. Miss Barbara. Hi, Professor Shawn, Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. Oops, missed writing in last week, but didn't miss the show. Nice beads. Kevin told me that almost all the beads, he wouldn't be surprised if they all sold out. So he goes, almost every order somebody bought some beads. So that's great to hear, because I made them really inexpensive and I really wanted them to sell. So if you haven't gotten a chance yet, watch the show. If you want a deal on beads, even if you don't know what to do with them, anybody can become their own jeweler or maker of jewelry by just starting with some beads. And you can, from simple pieces of metal or even just nylon or fishing line, you can create drop earrings. Yeah, so fishing line, run the wire through, it melts and it balls up. So that can stop it from going any further. Put 4 or 5 of the beads on, make them any length you want. Then you can create a loop at the top, and you can create jackets from them. So many things you can do really simply, easily, and then it might lead you to take it a step further, get some findings, in other words, some simple metal, and who knows what that can lead to. Have fun. That's the idea. Let's see. Well done, 5 out of 6. Okay, so enjoy. Have a wonderful week. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. That Labrador heart was amazing. Yes, it was. Miss Barbara. Hi, Professor Shawn. Okay. Oops. Missed writing in, but didn't miss the show. Nice beats. Hope our makers in the group took advantage of them. And thank you for the Thuya wood boxes. I've been fascinated by them, and now I am looking forward to 3 with goodies inside yet. This week, I was attracted to the dumortierite in quartz. I once read that dumortierite inclusions were thought to be responsible for the pink color in rose quartz. And was surprised at the lovely blue in your cabochon. Dumortierite is known as the blue jean stone. So in the form that you would normally ever see it in, is almost always blue. Unless it interacts somehow with the quartz, I'm not sure how dumortierite would make rose quartz that color, but that'd be worth looking into, and I'd be curious to know if that was the case, because dumortierite actually is quite rare. It has a hardness of 8.5. It's actually a very hard stone, and one of the most prettiest versions of it is when it is an inclusion in quartz. By the way, twisting together of multiple bead strands is called torsade. Pronounced torsade. It makes a handful of small bead strands look more lush and fulsome, and sounds fancy too. Yes, it does. Thank you for telling me that. Another one of mine. I have to admit that your closer tour of that tourmaline last time did show a pastel color variation, and you can make out triangular cross sections snuggled in amongst the bundled crystals. This time I see Iceland spar, calcite rom. Very good. Rhombohedral form. Then number 2, zircon for its tetragonal prism-shaped bottom. That's a good answer. Color could be correct as well, but in this case it's topaz. Number 3, you have aventurine. Good job. Or fuchsite, not jade spheres because of the sparkles. Yep, aventurine. Then green apophyllite, not prehnite because of the pearliness and super high luster. It is actually in this form that the pearliness is what helps it to be defined as prehnite. And by way of apophyllite, in that mint green color, it's almost always in a crystalline form that is not of that waxy pearlescent type look. I have never seen it form like that. Number 5, obsidian. Good job getting that one right. And number 6, garnet. Diamond-shaped crystal faces. Obsidian. And then garnet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. I wish that was a garnet. That'd be a big, nice green garnet. This is fun. It really makes you think, and that's the whole idea. I want you to think, well, enjoy the cooler weather and have a blast prospecting. Just wear a bright jacket that differentiates you from Teddy out there. I think about that all the time when I'm in the woods prospecting. I can't wait to get to that spot. I did it this past weekend, but I've got to go to that outcropping I saw. Be well, all. Miss Barbara from Brooklyn. Miss Penny says, hello, Shawn, the lovely Raven, amazing GSK crew, and fellow rock hounds. I hope this finds you well. My favorite, the guessing game. You know better than to call it a guessing game. This is answering a challenge, not guessing. Because guessing could occur if you knew nothing about rocks and minerals. and that's not the case. Number 1, calcite, good job. Number 2, smoky quartz, that's a good answer. The color was similar, but looking for imperial topaz on that. Number 3, aventurine, well done. Number 4, I know I've shown it, but it just isn't coming to me right now. That is the pre-right. Number 5 is obsidian, good job. And number 6, peridot, so another peridot. So good job, because it does look like peridot, but fluorite being correct. Thank you again for another great show. Faves of the week, the etched ametrine specimen in which I splurged and purchased. I was hoping one of you would get that. Look at how rare the crystal form of that is. It is extremely rare. People don't realize that almost all ametrine is etched. The rough crystal form of it is in an etched form, the outside of it. Very little has any sign of crystal faces. That's what made that piece so special and so rare. Also, it's nice clarity and color too. But well done. Well done. You could go to 100 shows and never see a piece like that. We are still holding on to some fabulous weather up here, but it looks like Sunday or Monday will start dipping down below the freezing mark. You know, it got to, we had a frost warning the other day at 33 degrees at our house, and it did. It frosted the kudzu. So kudzu's already being killed back, which is a good thing. Only for the winter, though, because it always comes back. And, but yeah, we already had a frost. And if you're saying you're having a freezing mark up in Quebec, wow. Because the days have been so mild, we don't have the beautiful and colorful fall foliage we normally get by this time. As it starts getting windier, the leaves will fall before having changed to their resplendent colors. That's it for now. Wish everyone a wonderful week, and I hope to see you next week. Miss Penny. That's it. Some years here in Georgia, that's why I say the leaves go from green to brown to the ground. Yeah, but this year so far, I have seen some really pretty leaves. Okay, before announcing the winner, there were 2 of you that got the same number. Let me show you those specimens again so you can learn from whether you got the answer wrong or right. You'll know. So let's start off here on the left one, optical calcite, Iceland spar. This form of it is a giveaway when you look behind it, and let me show you here. Let me show you the letters. How you doing, Mr. Johan? How you doing? Let's take a look, and look at that. Look at how doubly refractive it is. Boy, the birefringence, in other words, the difference in the refraction is huge. Look at that. That's how you always know. Let's look at it from the other end, so from every side. And it has that a 3-dimensional parallelogram, if you don't want to remember the rhombohedral form of it. Because if you look at it just like that, it would be a parallelogram written on a piece of paper. So that's 1 dimension. But this is a full 3-dimensional. Isn't that neat? Isn't that neat? That is like Ulexite, TV stone, where it brings the writing up to the surface. Kids love things like that. Okay, so optical calcite. Great job on all of you. Here is the, again, I tried it, the imperial topaz. And as we look at that, you can see the coating that is common found. Now this is the Utah, this is the Wawa Mountains, Topaz Mountain, and there you go, you can see the imperial color to it there. It just happens to have some inclusions. Ooh, I like that, it stands up on its own. Then look at the aventurine. So aventurine is quartz with a type of mica called fuchsite, which is a green color, and you can see the little reflections in it. These happen to be actually some really nice quality, and they're not drilled. So I like that. Somehow I wound up with a whole bag of undrilled beads. I don't know what people did with them, but these are some beautiful beads and nice quality aventurine. All right, so let me take those away before they roll off. You should have seen Asif and I trying to line these up. They went everywhere, as they are doing now. Okay, so let me show you what people had the most trouble with, the prehnite. Now, when you look at it, this pearlescent surface right there is one of the forms that prehnite is found in. And also, it's never completely transparent. So light will pass through it, but it's in a translucent form. It's always kind of a fogginess to it, like rose quartz has. So here is a shard that came off of a larger piece of prehnite, and so I thought I would use that. You can see some of the crystalline definition there, and this would cut a cabochon. Yeah. Then here, I think everybody did really well on this piece, and even getting the silver sheen part right. Obsidian. This is Western obsidian. Now, this is how it fractured off, but the whole piece, they're known as Indian tears, and they come in all kinds of different sizes, and they're found all of them out west in several different places, and it's neat to be able to go prospecting, so to speak, for Indian teardrops. So that's how the legend has it, because they're in the form kind of a teardrop like this. This would happen to be a big one. Most of the obsidian teardrops are smaller, but this does have the silver sheen to it. So well done on picking up on that. And then here, this is the one that really surprised me, how well everyone did on getting this as fluorite or as peridot. That would be a big peridot. Without it being really very crystalline, which fluorite gives itself away by the boxiness, the isometric crystals that forms. But this one, you don't see that so much. What you do see, though, if you had noticed, was these little pyrites or chalcopyrites, most likely. Remember that piece that had the reaction halos in it was fluorite and chalcopyrite, and it looks like might have to see the shape of the crystals, but it's one or the other. And fluorite often is found with those type of inclusions. But here, it's a nice green piece to it. So well done, everybody, on the what is this? And that would make the winner, since two of you, Cindy and Mr. Anthony, both got 5 out of 6. One of these days, someone's going to get all 6 of them correct. And so in a 50% chance of being a winner, and this week it was Mr. Anthony is the winner, and let me show Mr. Anthony what he has won. This could almost be classified as a paperweight. Check that out. That is a giant smoky quartz. There's that other adventuring, and look at that. Look at that. That's Anthony's a lapidary, a cutter. So he could have a lot of fun with that if he wanted to dress it up a little bit. It's a really clean piece, natural color. It's not that radiated, super dark material, which I don't like. And this is decades old. And smoky quartz like that is not inexpensive anymore. It used to be, but not so much. So I thought, I could have sold that, could sell that, of course, but I thought, nah, let's just give that away. So I'm glad to see that one of you got an opportunity on a really nice piece of smoky quartz. Okay, so let me tuck all that away, and I'll be back to start the show. World class for size. It really is. These 20 years ago, now I have had this probably at 20 years or so, they were more common. These big rubies, and remember, it was the big rubies that were salted in the buckets when I first, at 11 years old, in 1972, went to the Cowee Valley in North Carolina as a family vacation. 1 of 6 kids. We were all with the buckets. Gratefully, my parents bought the salted bucket. The buckets where they put the gems in the bucket. Because the natural stones, Cowee Valley rubies, of course, I know what they look like now, and the sapphires, but almost no one would, well, it's a story, because I used to go at the end of the flume line, and once I learned what they looked like, I would get everybody else's. Management finally, they put up with me for a while, but then they came up to me and said, hey, do you mind not doing that? He goes, that's what we do. We recycle the stuff that everybody else misses. Now, this is at the native stone mine where you were actually getting Cowee Valley rubies. And I understood. It's like, okay. But I came away with quite a few of them doing that. The Indian rubies you couldn't miss. The one I found that I said, Mommy, Daddy, I want to learn how to cut this. It's $1 million ruby. It was about 60 carats. And they actually take your picture when you find a big one like it's a big deal. Like you actually found something from the Cowie Valley that big. Not a chance. It would be in the museum. Tiffany and Company was very interested in the Cowie Valley rubies, which, of course, their lead gemologist, Frederick Kunz, was involved in buying and dealing in those rubies when the mine was real prolific. They're all alluvial stones. A creek wound its way back and forth through the valley, Cowie Valley, and just like in Ceylon, Sri Lanka, the stones are many feet below the surface. They were deposited from long since alluvially or eroded out of the original deposits into the valley, into the creek, and the creek meandered back and forth as they do over eons of time, and left them buried just like the Sri Lankan ones, which are about 30 to 40 feet deep. Okay, so those rubies I found is what led me to the rest of my life being able to make a living doing my hobby, because I found something and it was big and it spurred that fever. Just like finding, it only takes a little piece of gold for me to get gold fever, as it does most people when it's in the bottom of the pan and you see that little thing. Boy, you just see dollar signs. Okay, those rubies, see, I'm getting back to the story. Those rubies that I found in 1972 came from the same location, the Mysore district in India, which comprises a couple of different deposits, but they're still called just the Mysore district. Came from the same area. And look at this. Look at the size of this. There is so many positives about this. Let me talk about a couple of them here. You have what are called trigons. Now you have to turn it at an angle for the light to catch it, to see it. See, like that, you don't see it. So you see these triangles? That is stair-step growth. As you can see, they're at different levels. And it is actually desirable when a crystal has those. This is, now that you know what a floater crystal is, or at least have a better idea of it, this is a floater. You don't see where it's attached to matrix at all anywhere. So there is terminations on both sides. So you can see the terminations and the trigons on this side as well. Now, this is what's really interesting, the etching on the side of these. This was really actually quite unique. I didn't see this in researching the Mysore rubies to this degree in many others. So what this almost looks like, there was maybe mica, biotite mica, or some other crystals that were eroded out or dissolved out through hydrothermal solutions coming through wherever this was growing and dissolving them away, which is, you know, etching, as you've seen etching in beryl and other members of different minerals. This, though, is unique because some of the etching on this looks almost related to a negative impression of what a crystal was. Now, the other fun thing, think about this. If you have a diamond saw, and if this doesn't sell, that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to slice this up. I have before. I've sliced them up, and they, of course, the slices, you can make them as thin as you want. They stay together because of the density and the durability of the corundum. And you can make these beautiful little hexagonal slices that are a beautiful translucent pinkish purple color. And you can make a bunch of them. But once you do that, you really lose the rarity of the size of this crystal, which has gotten very rare. If you actually look at the sizes of, in Mindat, of the other crystals, the largest they say in general that they are found in is 50 millimeters across. Well, guess what? Remember, this 25.4 millimeters to an inch. 50 millimeters is 2 inches. This is 2 inches. So this is basically as large as they are found, but they are not found in the quantities that they used to be. Used to be able to buy spheres that they would make out of these, all kinds of things. Oh, no. And when you see them, they are expensive. Now, let me show you, and let's see if Johan can find for us here. There is, I discovered also, another gemstone on the side of these. Now, if we just randomly go in and look as close as we can, let me see. They were grouped in these darker areas. Okay, there's one right there. You can see the reddish color. See that triangle shaped piece? Let me see if I can move the light a little bit. And this is really would do me well if I was born with 3 hands. Right there you can see the crystal and the reddish color to that. Now hold on, let me have my other gizmo here, and let me just see. Oh, look at that beautiful pink color. There we go. You can see that darker reddish transparent color to that. Now, the only thing I can figure that to be is garnet. And other than that, I'm not sure what would give you that color. Now, in these other areas, you can see as well additional crystal growth. Now, I find that I saw a lot of them in the area that there was darker crystals. It could be left over biotite. And they're just these little sprays of beautiful, beautiful red. And to be seen better when you have this at home with all the right lighting. Well, there's another one right there. And these are actually bigger than the ones that I saw. So I don't know what else they would be. Maybe spinels. Spinel is closely related. Let me just point to it so you know what you're looking at.
A little further.
Right there. Yeah. So you can actually see those crystals embedded. Now, what was in, yeah, there you go. So was that is what created all these other larger etched areas? You can see that they are embedded in there, and if they were dissolved out, it would leave a negative impression, just like the surface of the moon and a meteor hitting it. I'm not sure. But I will leave it to whoever is lucky enough to get this. The other really neat thing about this, for those of you that like fluorescent gems, is this glows like a stop sign under long wave ultraviolet light. Telling you that yes, there is chromium in it, and yes, technically it is a ruby. By Asian standards, it is definitely a ruby. Other standards, pinkish purple, it could be called a sapphire. Doesn't matter. It is a massive, rare size, 1,410 carats. Let me hold that in my hand so you really look at that. Would that not make an amazing item in the display case? It has everything you want in a large corundum, a large ruby crystal. The trigons are an extra bonus.
Does it form like that naturally?
Yeah, it forms like, these are growth steps. So it'll keep growing on these. Exactly. You know, you often do see alien related things like that. Like this would be a key where it fits into something and it turns and unlocks, you know, yeah. My imagination when I get gem fever is rampant with anything I want to make it, because that's what the imagination is for. How about this? Okay, let's talk about one thing. It is considered a euhedral crystal. Remember what euhedral means? Euhedral basically means that it is the perfect form, crystalline form, that you would expect a ruby crystal to be. So in other words, it's not malformed, it's not misshaped, it is a wonderful hexagon shape. It's a floater crystal, so there's no sign of it having been attached to matrix anywhere else. Possible garnets as another plus. You have also maybe some biotite mica, which is found with these in some of those darker areas. But if you look, when you look closer, that's the fun you'll have. You're going to see all these tiny little red crystals. And so do some homework. Let me know what you find out. I have a price on this that puts it at only, and I think I'm really going to blow it on this. In other words, really offering it way less than what these are going for. It comes out to 17.5 cents a carat, $248. I originally even was going to say $278, but $248, I made it cheaper. Why? I don't know. $248 for something that is world class. And all you have to do is go to Mindat and compare this. Now remember, the sizes are important. Compare this to the other crystals being found in Mysore. And, well, the pricing is crazy if you look at that. But by way of shape and form, this is really as good as you could want or hope for. Okay, now let's go to a made in America item. Item 1213624. 1213624. Look at this. Okay, so look at these beautiful colors of Mother Nature. Look at that. Natural colors, both extremely durable gems. This is Alaskan nephrite jade and alluvial. You can see how rounded it is. What the situation was is the Kobuk River. It's a valley. The river runs through it, but the jade deposits were higher up and they eroded out, tumbled down into the river, and over lots of time and distance in the river, they were rounded down. And that is a natural polish. How do you tell like a natural polish? Because you even have it polished down in the dips. If you were hand polishing this on a buffing wheel, it would be difficult to actually do this as well as it has. How this happens is all different sizes of silica. You have larger pebbles, you have sand. Now, even though nephrite is a hardness of 6.5 or so, 6.5, jadeite is harder now, the other variety of jade. This nephrite belongs to the actinolite family. It's actually chemically not that closely related to jadeite. It is softer, harder 6.5. But why and how does it get alluvially tumbled looking? That's because quartz is a hardness of 7, the majority of what you find in the river. So that is, over time, harder than this, and it will tumble and polish it down. Now, that is a beautiful specimen. It was actually one of our personal ones that we kept out of a batch that we had. And at the edge, you can see just how translucent that is. So it's not an opaque piece at all. So this great paperweight, beautiful display item. Have it sitting around on the coffee table, however way you want. It just shows wonderfully, especially for, again, the silly amount of money, $24. $24 on that. And what a neat piece it will make. And again, it creates a conversation piece because the other thing is you don't have to worry about it getting broken in general, because if you drop it, it is really dense and fibrous the way it has formed and grown together. Thereby, it can withstand somebody accidentally knocking it off the table. It'll be fine. It really would be. It's great stuff. And that's why you can do those intricate carvings with some of the fine detail without it breaking, because it is so durable. So a wonderful, wonderful item, the only one I have, and fantastic opportunity. Okay, let me take one moment to put that one up. I'll be right back. I can't believe I'm offering this, but I am. And I have left the original sticker that was on the bottom. I wanted to make sure I always remembered this as a piece coming from, at least a material coming from the hog mine. And you've heard me talk about the Quartz King of Georgia, a gentleman that has really mined all the major deposits. And so this is a time that he accessed a lot of the rose quartz. Now, the hog mine in Georgia produces some of beautiful rose quartz. And this is carved from it. Look at the clarity. Look at the color. Look at that. Look at that. And the pink is really pleasing. There's the price in the original sticker I left on there. Hog mine, $18. And I'm just going to ask $18 for it. $18. And only one I have. And I think I have, I think some pyroxene or something else from the hog mine. I have to see what it is. But this is the only rose quartz item I have. And only $18. So if you want to collect Georgia minerals, that is a neat piece. I know a lot of people that actually collect carvings of frogs, so I'm sure that that will find a home. Okay, what I'm getting ready to show you next is, for those of you that like emerald or like unique stones, this item, I used to sell many of them at very high qualities, and of course the price followed. Item number 1214-124. It is the only one that I believe I have, and it is an extremely fine quality Trapiche emerald. Look at this. Look at this. Now, this is actually a really pleasing mint green. Green, as you probably heard from other shows, very difficult to get the color right for green. That is really a good job, though, Johan. It's just a little richer, deeper green than what you're seeing, but that's not what is really evaluates this the most. The most, and do your homework on Trapiche emeralds. It is a word that is derived from a sugar cane grinding wheel that has 6 spokes to it. And that is how it got named, because it is reminiscent of those 6 spokes to the grinding wheel they use for sugar cane. Now, here is the key. Most of these formations, these pie shapes, are distorted, are really distorted. And if you start doing any homework about it, you're going to see how much they get for items that are poorly formed. It is supposed to be graphite or carbon that migrates to the edges of, now remember, this is emerald's a beryl, and beryl forms in a 6-sided crystal. So that is one of the theories. They still don't know exactly how all the workings of how this is formed, but that is generally one of the acceptable explanations. And as you can see, it goes, and I'll take this out in a moment, but what I really want to stress is how perfect those pieces of pie are, and how those legs, those spokes, so to speak, of the Trapiche are so perfect and so symmetrical compared, everything being relative, remember, compared to the majority. And really, Asif has been around during when I was in the live show when we sold so many Colombian emeralds of every different form. This is from the Messo mine. Only in the Boyaca district do you find Trapiche emeralds. So that would include the Peñas Blancas mine. Yep, that's what it's called, the Peñas Blancas mine. The Peñas. It's you gotta, it's that funny N. And you probably know that, Johan. Yeah. Exactly. So it sounds like kind of a Y sound. I'm not going to say it again. Forget that mine. It's from the, you find them in the coast. Did you? I'm glad someone else wasn't here while this was going on just now. Now my face is red. Now my face, look at my face. You done embarrassed the host. You embarrassed the host. The Coscoes mine and the Muzo mine and the Boyaca district, those are the areas, the 3 mines that these have been found in. But the Muzo mine, and that's exactly where this is, because I know exactly the sourcing of it that we worked with at the time. Let me take this out. Let me take this out. This is one of the rarest forms of not only emerald, you can find this in some corundum and some tourmalines, but the most valuable of them all are the emerald formations. Look at that. Look, see that from the side? Look at how perfect that is. And the other thing is that adds to its perfection, right in the middle, oftentimes there is a little hexagon that I think you can actually see right there, that the spokes come away from. So you can see that. And sometimes in the middle of that little hexagon actually will be a little 6-sided emerald crystal. That's not the case in this particular one, but I've had them where that's been the case. This is one of the finest and best defined spokes you are going to ever find in a Trapiche emerald. And look at it from the reflection to the, look at that. And from the top to the bottom, those spokes are perfect. This, it looks great whether you just keep it in a gem tube or whether you make something beautiful out of it. Look at that. So, I have all the dimensions because look at that. It's actually quite thick, which many times you'll find them real thin. That's not the case. So it would easily fit a standard 8x6 mounting, and that would look beautiful. That would look beautiful. So I don't really know how to price this. I have had it for a long, long time. I don't know what the current market on these are. But I do know that the price I have on this compared to others that I saw is an amazing, amazing opportunity. And one that I will, this will be a regret. This will be a regret. But someone that has emeralds or collected emeralds, you need to have this. It will add such depth to a collection to have a Trapiche emerald. And I want anyone who gets this to go and compare to others, and you will really appreciate it. But in the meantime, don't let someone else buy it out from under you, because there's not going to be another one. So let's do this. Let's keep it a easy, simple price and make it, yeah. All right, just under, oh, I don't want to sound, okay, $268. That is just under $200 a carat. And what a gem for so little money. That is a prize. Look at that. Look at that. And a opportunity is knocking for someone that wants to add a really special piece to your collection without breaking the bank. And it is a Muzo stone. And that is worth a lot in itself, to have something from the Muzo mine. Okay, now let's look at, okay, so we're going to do a special, oh, I don't know where to start. Okay, once I start with those, so this is how I talk. Okay, let's look, guess what? I have some jewelry. Number 1214 224. 1214 224, yep. So you know if I have some jewelry, it is just not normal jewelry. There's something going to be special things about it. And this piece, I'm telling you what, this is exactly the kind of piece that if the hippie chick Raven saw it, she would scoop it up. But she already has a bathroom wall. I told you how she organizes her stuff. I actually gave her the idea because I was tired of her hearing her rattle through these boxes. She did not take care of her jewelry. She lets it all pile up together. So, push pins. You know, everyone's going to redo and repaint the bathroom anyway. She takes push pins, and so like her necklaces, uses a push pin, and she hangs everything, or let's say a ring, or let's say a pendant. She'll use a push pin and then hang it on the push pin, whatever it is. So it actually makes for, as long as you like jewelry, remember, our house is for us to enjoy. And any rock hound would think they're walking into a museum. Because your head would be doing 360s, not being able to keep up with what to look at next. The bathroom, I've asked her before if I could take a picture of the wall, and she says no. She says no. But I think I'm probably going to do it anyway. It's a great idea, but to see that much joy, anyway, that's another story. Look at this. She would have just added it to her collection. I have a stunning necklace. Look at this. Yeah. Tell me, as Johan gets the lighting right, I'm keeping it from you for a moment before I really turn it and show you. Look at the center stone. That is California rainbow obsidian. And with the green center, remember the Teotihuacan Empire in Mexico had their entire base of fortune because of a green obsidian mine they had control of that still produces now. Now, for those of you that watched the live show many years ago with me, you saw beautiful hand-knapped blades of green obsidian. That the sheen, instead of being silver, was green across all, and it was like this green. So, rainbow obsidian is found actually in California, some of the finest. And this is an old piece of jewelry I've had for some time, and I rediscovered it. It was actually prior to Raven's time, so she can't lay claim to it. This actually, when you see it in person, there'll be a band of purple here. That green is what really is unique. Let me change some angles. Now, the other thing. Have you ever seen orange druzy quartz like this? I hadn't. Look at this. So this is agate. Okay, this is agate. And normally it is around the color of what you see out here when you would see the druzy quartz. But you have seen this color. You have seen it in tangerine quartz. And all it is a hematite coating. So why can't it form on druzy quartz as well? Which is what has happened here. You can see some embedded in the agate along the edge. All natural color, no dyeing to this material. You can look at that little white line edge, and then a wonderful, wonderful druzy, and then most likely what occurred was rust, iron oxide, hematite coming over the top. Okay, so that is unique and beautiful. Then look at even the smoky quartz. I mean, I really love that, especially as a cabochon. That is cool. Now, the center star, though, to this is that eye, that eyeball looking at you. That green eyeball. Let me see from the back. Oh, look, pin pendant combination. And you can see the color. It's just not polished on the back. I wonder if it's translucent at all. Here's the other neat thing. You see this bail? You see that little gap underneath there? That means it can clip and hang right in between beads. So it's made as an enhancer or pendant or pin. And multi-functional item, and sterling silver. Now, look, the price of silver has really risen. But when I acquired this, it was a fraction of what it is now. All right, so there's so much else I need to get to. I could talk about each item for a long time, but I can't because it's so exciting. Price on this, an unbelievable opportunity. If I had those stones loose for that center one, as unique as it is, I would be inclined to ask just as much for the centerpiece as the price I'm asking for the entire item right now. So how's this? The entire piece, the silver included. I don't like that price. $77. Only $77. This show is the only show at Jim's Hopping where you can get amazing items for less than $100, including jewelry. I do have a fine piece of jewelry. I'll show you that in a little bit. And it's exceptional. So let me keep going though, because exceptional is the word of the day. Here we go. Okay, this is the surprise item 120, 9224. 120, 9224. I am amazed with all the opal lovers out there why this didn't sell. So this is an item, I can do the show with all new items you haven't seen before, but I wanted to re-feature this. It's Messo opal. This is opal from the 90s, the first discovery in that they had in Ethiopia before the Wello material. So the Messo opal is opal that it tended to craze. And so it was not, it didn't make a big splash in the market because it wasn't really functional as jewelry. As time went on, of course, they discovered the Wello opal. Now, the Messo opal is collectible and desirable because of the crazing. There's not a lot available for sale. I happened to, many years ago, run into a fella that sold me all of his Messo opal, and I think he thought he was getting the best of me. In the end, that wasn't the case. In the end, he actually wanted to buy it back. He wanted to buy it back at what he sold it to me for. That didn't fly. And you know who it is. I'll tell you in a moment. It was before my time here at Gem Shopping, and then next thing I know, I see him here, and we locked eyes and never have spoken since. The true story. True story. Okay, so this piece, I'm going to go ahead and give a discount on top of what was already an inexpensive price. But since you didn't purchase it at that, and what am I to do? So, yeah, so $28 and for a unusual, unique specimen wasn't in your price range. Well, I tell you what, anything after this price, it's going back home. $24. And if nothing else, you have something that you can add to an opal collection that most likely you don't have a Messo opal. And for not a lot of money now, well, you can have one. Okay, now, I'm trying to put a Band-Aid on my finger. So let me do that and I'll be right back. You are looking at part of my birthstone collection, grossular garnet. Now, grossular garnet covers a lot of other varieties of garnet. It is the garnet that has calcite in it. And it is also the garnet that Tsavorite belongs to. So Tsavorite is a grossular garnet, as is Hessonite, a grossular garnet. The word grossular stems from originally for the color of gooseberries. The Latin name for the type of gooseberry is Ribes gusellarium, or Rebes gusellarium. Not too much up on my Latin or Greek there. Hessonite has a hardness of 6.5 to 7. It's a calcium aluminum garnet. The color in hessonite, now hessonite being a form of grossular, is anywhere from a yellowish color most often to an orangish color, and often due to Fe3+. The Greek word hesson, this is kind of difficult to describe it this way, but this is where it comes from. It means for inferior, in allusion to the lower hardness and density compared to the other garnet family members. So, yeah, absolutely. If it's a hardness 6.5 or so to 7, that is softer than other ones. And but have you ever seen some other prettier garnets belonging when you think about tsavorite, when you think about hessonite? Now, what I'm going to show you are actual stones, item number. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Price on this, yep, I'm selling it only $18. Okay, so let me show you the size of it. Look at that. It's really nicely formed. But here's how you can tell when something's not a floater crystal, especially in garnets. So when you turn a garnet and you see the area that is often indented, so right here you can see when a garnet has been attached to matrix or to a cluster of other garnets, is you look often for a lower depression area, or an area like that where it circles, you can see, and you can see the dip in it like that. This could have a couple attachment points. It looks like another one there as well. So it's obvious when you don't have the crystal faces and sides that this is part of another crystal form. But what's really nice is this angle and this partition. Look at some beautiful colors. Now, grossular garnet can also have some amazing fluorescence. And let me show you a member of the garnet family called hessonite. Item 1214 924. What I'm getting ready to show you, I actually had cut from rough. I had a large quantity, and remember those parcels of tumbled hessonite that I offered that were facet grade? Well, there was some that were large enough and different colors that I had separated out. There weren't many of them, but let me show you. I put together a hessonite collection you're going to love. Look at these. Look at these. Look at those 3 colors. I'm telling you what. They have, remember, garnet usually has a higher refractive index. That's why some garnets actually go off the scale, like the androdites go off the scale of a refractometer. Androdite, or meaning the demantoid garnet. And remember, demantoid meaning diamond-like. So they have really high refractive index. Hessonite is a little bit lower, grossulars are a little bit lower, but still, you get a brilliance. Look at that. When I looked at this, I thought that they looked like diamonds. Let me take these out because these are special. And the fact that the 3 of them are almost matched for size and that graduated color is really cool. So let me show you these. Look at that. See what I mean? Look at the brilliance. Johan, doesn't that look like a yellow diamond? I mean, like canary diamonds. I mean, that is really cut well. I had these custom cut. There's some a little bit of cotton on that one. Look at these. These I had custom cut, and they really show the fact that they were cut well. Yeah, these, in other words, they cut them to the correct angles needed to bring about that kind of brilliance. Now let me show you this one. Yeah, look at the reflection even in them. That's beautiful. Look at this. Look at that guy. I mean, that looks like an orange diamond. It really, really does. And the collection to get all three is what really makes it special, because if your goal was to try to put together some of the various colors of hessonite, it would be really difficult. And here I was able to do this, and you get those in beautiful look, a beautiful, beautiful look. And you can see the weights of each one separately. So let's see, 103. I had this. If you take that, that's 3.03 carats in the three stones. That is really neat. That is really neat. Let me show you for an example. Now remember, look at this ring. This is actually a garnet. This is actually a rare red spessartine I have in that super old antique rose gold ring. So you can see how big it is relative to my ring. So it would make a wonderful piece. Yeah, yeah. So, and remember, part of my garnet collection, look at that. I tell you what, that is so diamond looking. And I've seen a lot of yellow diamonds, and it's amazing. I didn't expect that to come to be that brilliant in those. Tanzanian hessonite. Beautiful material. Price on all three of these is going to shock you. It really is. And I'm not sure why I'm offering them this low, but I'm just going to do it anyway. I want them to sell. Let's move it. $88 for all three. $88. It should be $88 for one. For one. Okay, now we're still working with the grossulars. Let me show you item number 1215 224. And wow, take a look at what I have here. This also, I had rough. And for those of you that saw those shows back then, you will remember when you see this that I did have the rough. I sold some rough, but I cut a lot of it. I had a lot of it cut. Look at this. Look at this pair. This is crazy. These are mint green. A beautiful, beautiful mint green, matched pair of mint green. And let me take these out, because the matched pair is what is so cool and unique, especially the rounds. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that cutting. Look at that cutting. Let me show you this. Look at that. I mean, if you were ever going to have a green diamond, I mean, that's kind of a close look. It is that mint green color. Now, do you remember the other really neat attribute to grossular garnets from Tanzania? They fluoresce, and they fluoresce like no other. They have a incredible, really beautiful pinkish orange fluorescence to them. And that is a big plus, because it is another optical property that it's also a way to verify that you do have grossular garnet, because this is not green enough to be called tsavorite. Or, I tell you what, people actually do, but that's wrong. That is wrong. This is mint green grossular, and that's what it should be called. It has nothing to do with tsavorite, except for the property of fluorescence, because tsavorite has a fluorescence. These will as well. And they're a matched pair. So you actually see, even in the description where I put fluorescence, because it is that striking that it is worth notating. Look at that. What a pair. Price on the two? Because that's, yeah, so how did I do that? Okay, so for both of these, a total weight, carat 48. You know, these do have a lighter specific gravity. So grossular or hessonite in that family must have a lower specific gravity, because I tell you what, the weight seems like it should be more. The diameter, 5.4 millimeters. How about this? $88, same price for the two of these, $88. And that is an opportunity. Look at this. So if you put all of these together, they're only $88 for each. Look at that. Great shot there, Johan. What? So $88 for these three, $88 for those two. What a collection for so little money. And in the gem world, believe me, that is so little money, especially custom cut, something like that. Beautiful, beautiful grossulars in the hessonite family and the mint green family as well of grossular. Extremely collectible and desirable. But let's not stop there when it comes to my collector's gem, my birthstone. Let me see what I can pull out here. Oh, you're going to love that. But hold on. Okay, here, let's do this. Let me show you item 1215-524. 1215-524. Now, I just mentioned this a moment ago in reference to my ring. I am going to show you two of the most outstanding spessartine garnets that you have seen in the red spessartine. Take a look. Take a look at those. Namibian red spessartine matched pair. That is stunning. Now let me just take these others away for a moment so I don't confuse you, but we'll just put those to the side. Look at all this. And all these are natural colors. Garnet is pretty much the only gemstone that has not been synthesized in any form or another. Also, garnet does not adhere to treatments. No glass filling, no heat treatment, none of that. This is all natural. Look at that gem. Look at that gem. Beautiful. And the color, really rich. The saturation, stunning. Between the two stones, 6.09 carat. And wow, those are beautiful. Those are beautiful. And what an addition to a garnet collection. So they're a different family of garnet than grossular, but look at all of those garnets together. This is why garnets, it was so easy to fall in love with my birthstone, because they were so diverse between the 6 families of garnets. The only thing we don't have much of is the Uvarabites. But I know where one is. That rat raven has a stunning one from I know, don't tell her I said that. Outokumpu, Finland. Yes. I think it is even the type locality. And it is even in matrix. And the little man was right there with his, he had like maybe 50 specimens. And I think she even tripped me to push me out of the way. Maybe I'm embellishing a little on the story, but it wasn't too much. And I wanted, of course, try to beat the man down on price, because I don't pay what they ask for ever. But I should have this time. She whipped out that money without negotiating so fast and bought it right out from under me, my birthstone. And she will not even give it to me as a gift. Nope, nope. She just grins like a Cheshire cat, saying, I put one over on you, and she did. I did call her a rat. I shouldn't have done that. And a cat, that's right, a cat and a rat. I know, and a raven. Oh, she's gonna lose her raven status. Okay, these two beauties. Obviously, I think everyone knows that spessartine garnet is a garnet that is not as inexpensive, but the price I'm putting on these for 6 carats, this material usually runs $300 a carat. And you know, I'm not one of those that makes up all these big prices and then comes down, blah, blah, blah. No, that is, I know, because I work with the founder of the company and he has a massive spessartine collection. And I was actually able to sell him. Oh, you remember those spessartines months ago that were in the ring that all of you passed up? I sold them all. And if you can sell something to the founder, believe me, you're selling them inexpensive because he is one of the sharpest buyers I've ever known. And he bought them. So that's where these will probably go to if you don't just steal them from me like he does. So, in a good way, $248. That's it, $248. So you're looking at what, $40 a carat? What? Did I pick up the wrong? No, that would be scary. $40 a carat. I know that Miss Gabby, she knows the prices of this, and yeah. So if you're on the fence and you're part of the geek squad there that that she hobnobs with, believe me, take advantage of all those garnets, and what a collection you will have. Okay, give me a minute. Let me put these up. I'll be right back.
Move the other stones, make sure that this be the way.
Yeah. Okay, yep. Let's get those out of the way. Beautiful screenshot on those. And let me put these 2 opportunities away. For the 3 stone deal and then the mint green. What a collection. Okay, so here we go. So you can imagine the fun I have with my gemstones.
I'm still recording.
No, they can hear all the behind the scenes chatter amongst us and all the ugly names you call me.
That's 3 carats each.
You know, I worried about that. I worried about that because how could these 3 hessonites only total 3 carats? That would be an average of 1 carat each. I didn't really know how that added up, but I didn't want to take the time to reweigh them. So yeah, these, because it's a different garnet and it's manganese based versus calcium based. Hessonites are calcium garnets. So they're part of the other group of garnets other than the pyrospites, which are the pyrope, spessartine, and other garnets that have the materials in them that cause them to weigh more relative to the same size. So, yep. So you have in this group, which are aluminum, have aluminum in them. So you have your pyrope garnet, your almandine garnet, and your spessartine garnet. And then the other group is that have calcium are the eugrandites, which is euveravite. It's kind of neat the way they do that. Yes, thank you. The androdite and Grossler, spelling out eugrandite. These having manganese by way of specific gravity, size for size, are going to weigh more. And I was kind of surprised by the 3 carat each, but that, and they all seem to be cut deep like this pair. And that's how you get some of the brilliance, just like they do blue zircons. The higher refractive index gems, I notice, like blue zircons, they'll cut deeper than others. I think just maybe to increase saturation or whatnot. $248. That's a bargain. Okay, here. I'm going to throw something. You guys are going to go crazy. I'm limiting these to 1 per client. So if we can make sure, item number 1214-724. All of you have been wanting these, but there's only 5. And so I'm limiting them and to 1 per client, please, so that 5 people can get an opportunity. Look at this, diamond crystals. Actual diamond crystals, and they are the silver white ones, and these are from the Congo. So this shows wonderful, wonderful isometric crystal system that diamond belongs to, meaning they're singly refractive, and all sides, isometric meaning, are equal. That's why you get these cubes. Now, when you see a cube diamond in that form versus a macle or versus a bipyramidal form, you almost always can expect them to be from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Or in most cases, people just say the Congo. It sounds, it sounds about as wild as it is. No, don't you dare say that. But I did see the movie. I had to see the movie because it wasn't a big pink diamond that they were after. I also saw that movie, The Congo, with it was great because it had those apes that were just really mean apes, and they were protecting all these diamonds that were huge. So, you know me, I watched the long trailer again, Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball, and if you ever want a funny movie where she actually does exactly what we do, she collects a rock from everywhere she goes and visits. And I won't tell the rest of the story. I won't be, what is it called, a spoiler or something. Yeah, let's get back to the diamonds. These average 33 to 36 points, limit 1 per client, and Kevin will make sure he does his job on that. So don't try to buy more than 2 because it's only fair, because wait till you hear the price. And I looked, and the other people that carry these, it's amazing how much they're asking for them. These have gone, even, you know why? Everyone, there's these synthetic diamonds everywhere, but you cannot get synthetic diamond crystals because they don't look like this. Look at these. They're wonderful cubes, and so there's, you just luck of the draw, whoever gets what. But it doesn't matter which one you get. They're all in the same area. They're all, now, here's the difference I saw between the other people that offer them. There is crystals that you can't even tell they're a crystal. Diamonds often are found very distorted crystalline-wise. All these, you can really see the cubic nature, and that's what you want to see. You want to see some form of crystalline, of crystal versus just a blob. And a lot of diamonds look like a blob when they're industrial quality. Not these. These were special. I had them set aside. I have had these for decades. So anyway, I kept 1 for myself, and I hope to go find my own diamonds. It's on my bucket list in Arkansas. And the only natural diamond deposit in the United States. And that would be really cool to find my own. So these are a great way to start getting to look and know what a diamond is. Plus, if you collect the Mohs hardness 1 through 10, most likely you don't have a diamond crystal to finish out your collection of Mohs hardness gems, which I actually have several collections. I was thinking about selling off Mohs hardness collections, but it takes so much time to put them together. So anyway, diamond.
Your mic is hitting your button.
Oh, don't want to mess with my mic. How do you know that from there? You can't even see me. Man, good job. It was. You're right.
It's still fully.
Uh-oh. Maybe it's my antenna over here. Let me know if it gets better. I cut 6 inches of my hair off so it wouldn't get in the way. Okay, here we go. Price on these, and here is why there's a limit. Because at the price I'm asking, someone would buy all 5 of them. They do not. This is why I'm not a good businessman. $28 each. $28 each. And they're a third of a carat. Here, just to give you an idea of how big they are, I'll just grab one. Here is my ring again, so you get a relative size. Look at that. Look at that. I actually made quite a bit of jewelry with platinum and rough diamonds when I had my second jewelry store. And it was, they were fun to make. It was easy to do in platinum. But to be honest, I was before my time. People didn't appreciate my work. Truly, most of the rings, I ended up cutting the diamonds back out and scrapping the platinum. Yep. It was a bomb. And, you know, for me to be honest and say that about myself, only I would do that. But that's me. That's how I roll. You get nothing but the truth. And the truth was, my designs I thought were cool as can be. There were tension shed by the platinum pushed in from the outside, so you saw nothing but rough diamonds. Very clever of me. Yeah, I was before my time. And truly, because like 10 years later, all these fancy designers came out with this rough diamond and jewelry stuff, including all these other weird colors and all these funky cuts to diamonds, and yeah. Anyway, let me show you item number 1215 624. 1215 624. And I am going to show you another beautiful and unique opportunity on, well, let me show you. Look at this. Look at this. Rutilated quartz. Okay, rutilated quartz. Now, let me tell you. In the live show, so when I say that, yeah. Let me, clean the glass? Is that what you said? I shall. Let me just,
Do I think it's getting on the side of the chair?
I'll check that.
Whatever you move to the left.
Okay. Okay, so look at this. When I sold a lot of, during the live show, so when I reference that was prior to the podcast. So prior to 7 years ago, I was selling rutilated quartz that had the hematite centers with the 6 spokes of rutile coming out of it. Some of the pieces of rough I sold as much as $1,300. They're probably worth twice that now. It is very collectible, and they're using it in high-end designer jewelry. This is a incredible, beautiful freeform piece, and you can see how the light just reflects off of the golden rutile needles. And then look at the back. You can see some of the hematite centers. It just doesn't have 6 spokes to it. So let me flip this guy over again, and I'll show you so you'll know in the future what to look for when you look. Okay, so there's the hematite on that one, and there's a little bit of hematite at the end of that one. But look at that. Look at how beautiful it is. That is just as pretty from the back side as it is from the front side. And again, this is the only one, unless I find another one. And I know this is a real old piece. So here's, when you see this like written on the back of the tubes, that I don't do that. So that goes way, way back. Yep, the way, way back machine. $28 for that. And that's a price that you guys will be trying to get to the phone as quick as you can, because the least I've ever seen it for was like $5 a carat. I just got one of those diamonds stuck under my Band-Aid. See, you never know what you're going to hear in this show. I mean, you know, when the show just speaks the truth, I'm entertaining you with because of my silliness. Yeah. Okay, so $28. Wow. All right. I haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet, which I better soon. Item number 1216024. Surprise! You didn't expect this, but you never know. This is the show that we can sell anything. And we have. So we do gemstones, we do rocks, we do minerals, we do fossils, and we do jewelry. And if you see jewelry, it is a bargain. Look at this locket. This is an estate locket. And it's larger than normal. Look at the unique bail. And look at that. Look at how beautiful it is on the inside. A lot of times it's oxidized or there'll be imperfections in it, but no. And this is done by repose. In other words, it's done from behind and often like on a lead block. And they will use different tools and they will hammer the silver from the reverse side, creating the design on the other side. And so there's a little lock. I actually tighten it up so it makes a nice, hear that, snap, and double-sided. Look at how thick that is. You could even put money in there and no one would know it. How about this? Even with the price of silver, what it is, lockets, because there is so much labor involved, you have to do the hinge, the two sides to it, the finishing. They're, by way of price per gram, they're expensive. This is only $48. Only $48. And it is, look at that. 14.7 grams. So almost 31.1 grams is an ounce. That is almost half an ounce of silver for $48. That's a deal. Item number 1215-424. 1215-424. Here we go. As I speed up because I have lots to show with little time to go. And often I save the best for last, but then I end up having a rush, but that's okay. Look at these. Here is a quartz collection. Now, the neat thing about this is exactly that. It is a quartz collection. And it has natural color citrine. Natural color right there. If you ever wonder what natural color citrine looks like, that's it. Remember we talked about the difference between heat-treated amethyst to citrine and natural citrine. Natural citrine is a lighter yellow, and it's a kind of a yellow, washed out kind of yellow, to be honest. Now, what has become rare also is, because there's so much synthetic material in the market, natural amethyst, and you look for zoning in it. Look at, this is actually quite a beautiful stone. I actually see some blue in this, and a little bit of red flag. Look at that. What in the world? That's quite interesting. And you see the color zoning, you see the little difference in shade of color, this and little, that's what you want to see. There we go. There's a great shot of zoning right there where you can see even the lines. And once you see that, then you know you have a natural piece of amethyst. Let me wipe this down. This is going to be one of those deals that the TV, the big screen I'm looking at, is going to reveal how little I'm actually charging for the parcel. Wow. That is nicer than I looked at it. Look at it. These are even decent cut. Anyway, the sizes are similar to each other. I'm just going to give a deal on these because I got to move on. How about it? How about it? Ready, set. See, so yeah, so we have a smoky quartz, a light smoky quartz, a natural, which is natural citrine, and natural amethyst. And I am offering all three at a total of 37 carats. So all three, $37. $37. $1 a carat. The amethyst easily is worth that by itself. And you get all three. And here you saw, relative to size, you can see just how big it is in my hand. So, nice size. Okay, it's time. I need to get to what I have. Okay, so while I'm putting these up, let me preface what I'm going to show you next. And it is stones that I had cut from rough. This rough, I happen to know for a fact, goes back to the 70s when it was mined. Then it sat around for a long time. I ended up, fortunate enough, I bought the safe that belonged to the guy that had the rough, and I made a deal. That's on all that rough. The bag of tumbled zircons that you saw, that no one took advantage of. The garnets, the hessonites, the rough apatite that I've had cut. You'll be seeing some of those coming up. All of that. Okay. One, as part of it, what I had was Umba sapphire. Umba sapphire is sapphire that is originally from hard rock deposits, but it alluvially eroded out, washed into the Umba River. The Umba River, of course, they meander back and forth over time. And so, again, like Ceylon, like Cowrie Valley, they're digging in other areas away from the river to find the material, or they're panning directly in the river to find the sapphires. They're not known to be large, but everything I'm going to show you when I show you the sapphires is no heat and natural color. But first, let's finish with one of the rarest, if not the rarest, grossular garnet there is. Item number 1215024. This is probably the rarest collector's garnet you are ever going to come across. It is called Leuco garnet. It is colorless. Colorless garnet. Look at that. I have known a lot of you that have wanted some of these, and I've had them. I just have not been willing to offer them. There's a 1 cushion cut there and 3 rounds. So you have my favorite cut, the square cushion, and one of the hardest cuts to ever get is a round stone in gemstones. Not in diamonds, but in gemstones. It takes a lot of material. Look at these. Look at colorless garnet. And it's called Leuco garnet. Now, do not be fooled by garnets that are sold as Leuco garnet that have a champagne or a yellowish tint. It's not true Leuco garnet. Leuco garnet is colorless. And grossular garnet in its pure form is colorless, just as acroite is, tourmaline in its pure form, or goshenite, which is beryl in its pure form. All are clear, such as fluorite as well. And that's why it's so rare, because they're allochromatic gems that almost always have some type of impurities. Look at how white those are. Against a white background, you do not see any tint of color. You're just not going to find them. I actually looked to see if I could find Leuco garnet for sale. I saw nothing that was pure white like these. And what I did saw, what was being offered as Leuco garnet, had a tint of color to it. And it was still expensive, but it upset me because I said, this is not Leuco garnet. Of course, I'm talking to myself. Actually, I was talking out loud to myself, which I do. I'm home alone a lot. And what's a guy going to do? Talk to the cat. So it upsets me when I see things being misrepresented, because people don't really always know unless they hear it straight up from someone like me and this crazy bunch. So those Leuco garnets, I have no idea. I could not price compare them. There was nothing to compare to. So I just made up a price and made it to where it has to be worth that much, right? And how much is that? $57. $50 a carat, I promise you. I tell you what, if you find them and they're a lot more than that, then come back to me and give me more money. Because it's only fair, right? Here's the other thing. The other way you can know they're grossular garnet, that last word in the description, fluorescent. Fluorescent, yes. I don't know where it gets it from, but these are beautifully fluorescent. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Okay, let me show you. Let me start off. Wait a second. How much? Okay. Yikes. Okay, hold on. Hold on. We're going to get there, but first, let me show you item number 121 3924. 121 3924. Now, what I'm showing you is, yes, I have beads. I am selling these as a group of 3 strands. So here is 3 strands, tiger eye. Look at how beautiful these are. Look at that. This is high-grade tiger eye from the Northern Cape of South Africa. You can see, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And so you can leave them on this string if you want. And just, so there's 3 strands. So it's a total of 45 inches. So that'll make a necklace that'll go over your head. It'll make a double strand bracelet. There's enough here that you can do a necklace and bracelet and drop earrings and whatever. And you can do a tornado. What was it? See, it's a guy thing. You can twist them up and make them look like that and call them that fancy word that I already forgot, because that's what us guys do. Even ones in the business. Look at this. Okay, so I got them going. Wait, so 3 strands, hold on, right there. Here, let me show you. I have a few. Look at those. So out of these, 3 strands is each sale. I think there's like 24. So there's 8 opportunities, no limit. You can buy as many as you want. But you get 3 strands, roughly 225 carats. These are hand cut. And when I say that, how you can tell, they'll be on some of them little flat areas. That means they held these in their hand to round them down till they get to a point to where they polish them by tumbling them. And sometimes they'll, because they're hand cut, you'll see little flat places on them. But since I can't find them really easily right now, you can see it's not that big of a problem. So this is the whole batch of them that they're going to pick from. And I told Kevin how to do it. So I said, Kevin, you hold on to this part at the top, and then each one, I take a pair of pliers, but each one of these, if you see the string right here that they come out of, he just held it and you can pull them right out. I took a pair of pliers because it just made it even easier. And they pull straight all the way out, including the string from here. I don't know how they do that. Yeah, it's really, really clever. And before I knew how to do that, I was cutting them, and then, of course, they'd all fall off, and it was a big mess. So anyway, Kevin caught on quick because he didn't want to make a big mess when they dropped all the way off. Okay, so 3 strands. I can't hold them on there right now at the moment, so let me just set them on the turntable there and give you the price. Wow. This is why Kevin told me almost every single strand of beads sold out. $18 for all 3. $18 for all 3. That can't be right. $6 a strand? $6 a strand. I don't know. Yep. Now, let me get to one more item here before we get to what you are waiting for. All right. Item number 1214024. And yeah, I have, and remember, all this material is really old. And I say that because it means I bought them at a price much lower. And most of the time, the older material it's usually almost always the better quality material. Look at this, lapis. Lapis. And not knowing exactly the history of this because it's been so long, I got up the nerve. How do you tell lapis that has not been dyed? And you never really know unless you take a solvent such as acetone and a white paper towel or white cloth, and you rub the bead with the solvent. And I've done it where it has turned the white cloth blue. And that's a sad day when that happens because that means it's been dyed. So let me already save you the time, but you can do it just to check. These passed the solvent test. No, you should see me. It's like, oh, please don't turn blue. Please don't turn. And it did. And look at the size of these. These are 8 millimeter. They're unstrung, of course. But look at how little bit of any pyrite and how little calcite there is in them. That is how you determine the I guess that, you know what, I saw AAA used, A used, B used, different kind of qualities. Everybody uses different grading, but skip all that. All you need to do is use your eye and make your own judgment. Is the color in the range it's supposed to be? Yes. Does it have a lot of calcite? No. That would be a bad thing. Is there a lot of pyrite? No. That would be a bad thing. If it is a dark navy blue and has a lot of pyrite, it is most likely Chilean lapis. If it has a lot of calcite, in other words, a lot of white and blue in it, then it can be a much lower grade of Afghanistan material. And I have seen it to where it's, you know, like 1/3 white calcite and blue. And they still are charging a lot. They're charging a lot for these beads. And from that main bead place, you know, that we talked about before, I have these. I am talking about a strand of these was in the over $100-something. I mean, considerably over. I couldn't believe it, actually, how much they were asking for lapis beads. Price on these, each, I'm a moron. What in the world? I literally saw these priced, and how I got to this price, I don't know. Anyway, no wonder every single one sold of those others because they were priced the same. Wait, what? I have seen these upstairs sell, all of them, for hundreds of dollars, and that's what they go for. Why would I put a price on these then of only $16 a strand? $16 a strand? Really? Okay, well, that's what's there. I have too many other things to do to change it. Let me put this over here so you can gawk at it for $16 while I move on to the next item. Wow, Shawn. Wow. If you bought all 5 strands, that's only $80 or whatever. I don't know. That has to be a error. It really does. I don't know. Anyway, let me get to what I want to get to here. That's it. I'm going straight to it. Right, well, there's something else here. No, okay. Here we go. Umba sapphires. If you've ever wanted something gorgeous that no one else has, let's look at item 121. Let's look. Yeah, 121. 4624. 121 4624. And this I actually took the time to put them in this cutesy little design like this because it makes them look so stunning. Look at that. Look at that. Now that is better than any rainbow bracelet because you know what? Everything here is natural color. Here's the key. podporachas. Genuine podporachas right there. Absolutely podporacha. It is the podporacha that they're supposed to look like. I have seen podporachas that look no more than a pink sapphire. And I keep wondering, where's the orange? Where's the orange? Podporacha, you know, when I first learned about it, it was meant the color of the stamen of the lotus flower. Now they say podporacha is the color of the petals of the flower. I don't know about that. I think it still goes back originally to the stamen. Either way, it has to do with the lotus flower and the blend of colors between pink. It can be pinkish orange or orangish pink, but it has to have both colors. And you can eat. Now remember, sapphire is also dichroic, so as you turn this and look at it in different directions, see that, how it changes? The key is looking down on it. And without a doubt, pink and orange, pink and orange, pink and orange, pink and orange, pink. And see, even this is a podporacha. It just has a little bit more of the pink, but definitely has orange in it. These are large stones. They're clean stones. Look at these. Look at these. These are all natural. I had them cut from rough. I had myself. Look at these natural yellows. I noticed that you guys didn't even bother to look up how much those treated sapphires I showed you the other week. You know, the ones, the diffusion ones, that because they're so prevalent, it's acceptable to sell them in jewelry because they're just mixed in with so many other natural or unnatural. You just don't know. You just can't tell, especially when they're smaller and used in these rainbow type bracelets. So, yeah. But one color that you never do see is the podporacha range. And the other thing is you can't be assured of the yellows or the orange, and most likely they're going to have a treatment to them. So the deal about these, having had them cut from rough and knowing, of course, the cutter, because I had them cut in in Thailand, and I've worked with the cutter for years and years and years. So they don't do any treatments or anything like that. This is the real deal. I'd take all these out, but I don't have time. No need to. You can see everything you need to see just as they are. And what a collection these amazing stones are. And many matching. Look at those 4 yellow matching. Look at, as I turn this, the different colors. That's a purple, blue, that's a purple. And these approach ruby, probably technically are ruby, especially by Asian standards. Here's another podporacha right there, another podporacha. So, and that anymore would be classified as one after all the ones I've seen. So, price on these, you know, I really don't know. I've had them for a long time. The rough is not even available. This, you're talking about rough that is just not available anymore. They're not finding that kind of material. When's the last time you've seen any Umba sapphire? The thing about Umba sapphires, the color is unique. It is like no other colors. In other words, the yellows are a little bit different. The pinks are a little bit different. There's a lot of pastels in the Umba sapphires. The blues, look at those blues. If I didn't know better, I would say that those are Ceylon, and they would be very valuable color in a Ceylon sapphire. But I happen to know that they come from the Umba River Valley or the Umba district. So they say it that way because it's a kind of a district, and the river, you know, is long, and some are found in the river using their methods of panning, and some are found, you know, digging into the old river gravels, and some are even found up off of the river on dry ground, more where some of the original deposits were, because you can see Umba crystals that don't have an alluvial look to them. Having had all these cut, I can assure you about the origin and the process. They are natural all the way. So that said, I could put a huge price on these and it would be well worth it. 5.60 carats of this material. Wow. Instead, you know, I'd like to sell them all. I can break them down and sell the paparachas off separate and that, but it really, someone should really just take them all. I'm going to price them in for that to happen. And by doing that, I'm making them only $280. That's only $50 a carat. $280 for the entire parcel. The paparachas, easily worth that alone. Let me show you item number 121, 4824. 121, 4824. And these, I don't know which parcel I like better. That parcel or this one. Check this out. Is that not beautiful? Look at that. This is when, if you just have them in a gem tube, do nothing else with them. They are so enjoyable to look at. Pick up each stone, examine it. Also, there's color change. When the way you find your color change, they're usually in this color to start with. So there'll be a bluish purple. Those are the ones I find have the greatest chance to be color change. Use different lights, that one as well. May very well. Look at these range of colors, and they're rounds. They're rounds. Look at the yellows. And then the middle, I just kind of gathered up some that looked paparachai, if that's a word. These four, definitely in the paparachai range. Definitely these three biggest ones. It just depends on which. See, if you turn that one, it goes the same color. See that, the difference? So that's what you have to take into account. So there's three or four. Look at the biggest stones in here. Paparachas, without a doubt. Without a doubt. There's a pair. These range from 3 to 4 millimeters in size. Look at the purples. A stunning collection. Stunning. And you know what? Let's do this. Round stones should command more. This is a similar, this is, on average, the stones are weigh a little bit less. There's 24 stones. I think the other was 21 maybe. 5.41 carats. So, yeah, I'm just looking at the weight. 21 stones on the other with a total weight of 5.60 carats. So average a little bit more. All right, price on these, let's do it the same price per carat. $270. $270. And no limit. You're welcome to get them both. What a collection that would make. So there was $270 on that one, $280 on that one. What a deal. What a deal. Look at that. How beautiful. Have you ever seen? I don't know. There's just something about Umba sapphires I love. Aren't those, Johan, just beautiful? They are.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just that pure color. Really enjoyable. Let me show you something else. Item 121 4524. 121 4524. This is from my friend's mine. You know, the story, the amethyst guy. Sergio. I won't go into that story now. Those of you have probably already heard it. But his first job, was taking, I've got to tell it, since I already started. One of those, he was taking a briefcase. I mean, a whole briefcase full of amethyst. This was his first job. He was working for his uncle. He's well known in the industry. He actually owns the Bella Vista mine. So while I'm telling you the story, be looking at a crystal that came from his mine. Check that out. Now that's imperial topaz. Let me make this spin while we're looking at it. Oro Prado. He has Bella Vista mine. Okay, now the rest of the story. So he was like 20, 21 years old. He was overwhelmed himself when he saw all these amethysts. But being a young guy in Brazil, only one thing on that boy's mind, and that was the Brazilian women. So he thought it was a great idea. All these stones had been bagged up. He took every one out of their bags, spread them across the entire bed in the hotel, and then brought his date in. And she was just like, oh, this is beautiful. You know, the color purple and all, was overwhelmed as well. So they both decide to keep them on the bed as they rumble. Let's just put it that way. As they rumble and have a lot of fun. And by the end of it, and this is, so he puts them all back and delivers them. And his uncle hit the roof. 90% of them had to be recut. They were chipped, broken. So not only did he lose the weight of, by way of cutting, he also had to pay for them to be recut. His uncle, because, you know, Sergio didn't have any money. And that was the start of his career. Now, he learned a lot because he owns a topaz mine now. But it's amazing. He also dealt in really high-end Brazilian emeralds, like the Santa Teresina mine. Really, they're not large, but they were super high quality. And every single emerald were not in these Ziploc bags. They were these other special little sealed bags. He was so particular about not putting two stones together. It's like he learned his lesson young, and then he became almost manic about making sure that his stones were packaged and bagged and didn't touch each other. It's kind of funny to see the full circle that of learning, the learning curve he was on. But it still makes, at 20, when looking back, when you're 20, 21 years old, what a great story. I don't have anything I can even come close with to that. All right, this crystal. Yeah, my life wasn't that exciting at that age. Married by the time I was 23. Only if you want, okay, this kind of material is almost always cut. It is still clean enough when it's an imperial and it's that color that they still facet it. They still facet it. So if you want a really nice stone, this is only $68. Only $68, and very difficult to find just a crystal like that. So it's only 10 bucks a carat. That's a great opportunity. Now, let's see as the clock ticks. Item number 121-4424. 121-4424. Take a look at this. Wow. Okay. This is a level of opal, boulder opal, that you don't normally see. Take a look at this gem. And wow, look at that. Look at that. It's really cool because it's unique. And you know, if I have something, it's going to be unique. Look at this area right here. This is like normal kind of black opal, it looks like, but yet it is on ironstone, and even the ironstone is polished, so it's just a really well done piece. Look at the reflection in the mirror. There is actually some beautiful red in here that I caught at a particular angle. Look at the flash of blue, and you can see some, there's red hiding right down in there. Right down in there. And who knows, if I get the angle right, it could be a price-changing flash of color. Okay, that is not working. Let's try this pair. And boulder opals are cut following the fire. Oh, look at, and so you can get, that's why you get the freeform shapes to them, and because they're following the color bar. I saw some beautiful reds up there. This is a gem I'm going to leave for all of you to explore. I see reds down in there. Yeah, look at all that red down in there. It's a lovely stone, especially when you hear the lovely price. So, Queensland Opal, $68. $68. So it's a $68 day. $68 for the amazing. And the neat thing is like that crystal of topaz. It went from the mine to me. And I know the owner of the mine, known him for decades. Decades. Oh, look, let me show you real quick. I brought in my really fancy voltmeter. And so I don't have time, but in microvolts, we can, I can measure, I was going to measure quartz, apatite, and some tourmaline, but we'll have to do that another day. Also measure some other people's natural electricity in their body. Okay, let me show you. Here is a stunning opportunity on a really old piece of jewelry that you're going to love. Item number 121. Oh, I gotta use it. Yeah, it is 121 5924. 121 5924. And let's go back to the Victorian era. Take a look. Take a look at that. Now, of course, the weight, all I can do is estimate the weight, but I did measure the diamonds. And of course, having had an estate jewelry store, this is something I was just really familiar with as far as, they're all old mine cuts. All old mine cuts. How do you tell? Well, let me catch the light off of one of these. Always by the table. The table is really small compared to, look how small that table is compared to modern brilliance. Then, the word that was always used was, there's a hole in the diamond. Well, it's not a hole. It's where they cut the cullet, the very point, flat across the bottom. Why they did that, I don't know. But later they altered the angles to close it up. And right there is a perfect example. Look at that. See what looks like the hole in the middle. That is perfect. That is the easy one to show you what to look for to determine how old the diamond is. Now, even the European cut diamonds, when they got to that stage of cutting, they still left what's called an open cullet. It was smaller, but it still had that little facet across the bottom. And it just never made any sense. Later, with the transitional cut and the modern American brilliant, they closed that up by angles and did away with it. So that's how you can tell age. Every one of these has a high crown. In other words, the angle you can see right here of the crown is angled high. And the proportions of the crown from the girdle up is greater than the modern brilliant. Okay, these heads are in platinum. The yellow gold, I didn't test it, so I just put 14 karat. I can polish this all up if anybody wants it polished, but some of the natural patina I just left there because it took 150 years for it to be there, and you know, some people want it left there. It's heavy. The platinum, and that's why it is still in wearable form, because platinum is so durable. There is approximately 2 carats here. Now, my actual weight came out closer to 2 1/4, but I just dropped it to 2 carat to make sure that no matter who does what measurements, there's no way they can come up with anything less than 2 carat. Look at these. So these stones, these large ones, remember, by diameter, old mines are going to weigh more because of the height of the crown and the dimensions. So these roughly, there's roughly 2 1/2 carats and like a 40 pointer. There's 2 stones here. Those right there, they would make a pair of earrings. Actually, all 3 of these are very similar in size. So there's easily, if you want to break it down, there's a pair of earrings. There's a pair of earrings here. A lot of people want the old cuts because they are brilliant in a very unique way. And I am one of those. I am one of those. The chain is 14 karat. It's 16 inches long. And it actually was on a leather cord. So that was pretty interesting. Look at that. Look at how large that look is. When I tell you the price, you know, all those items of jewelry that I showed before, this also is, of course, from an estate. You remember how inexpensive everything was, whether it was the tanzanite or whether it was the spessartine, no matter what the items were, the black opal, all of it sold. Every single piece. There was that huge, not the loose tourmaline, but the tourmaline piece. I'm just thinking of all these other pieces, every single one, because I priced them so far below any market that you would see them at. It was one of those, yeah, you couldn't go wrong. Same thing, when I tell you the price of this, basically it is going to be how much just one of these stones would cost. Here's the other thing, the clarity. The clarity, usually on older cut diamonds, the color and clarity are not as nice because remember, the African diamond mines were not even discovered until the late 1800s. So prior to that, your diamonds came from India, most of them, and some from Brazil. There's every likelihood, due to the age of this, surpassing the period when diamonds were discovered in South Africa, that these are Indian diamonds. Remember the Golconda mine, the famous mines that produced everything from the Hope diamond to the Cullinan, coming from India. So these stones likely from India, but most Indian diamonds had a little bit of color and they were known to have inclusions. These diamonds are some of the cleanest. There's only one diamond that might even be I1, but if I don't list it as such, then it becomes a problem. So other than that, it is easy VS to SI for almost all of them. You can see yourself against the black. And here, let me put it against a white neck. And you can determine color for yourself. I was conservative and only put HI for the color. And they, might be a GH. Look at that. Look at how white they are. Okay, you ready for this price? And it's one of those prices that it does. I will put it in another market, which of course, means it'll go upstairs and be sold for a different price, let's just say, than what I'm offering it. So it's starting here, and the opportunity you get to have first on this, almost nothing has ever had to go to the other market. You guys have scooped it up. Even if you don't like this design, buy it for the diamonds, for the loose diamonds, and it will be well worth it, even if you break it down. Oh, I weighed it. What does it weigh? You know how much gold is now? And platinum. Don't see the weight there, but yeah, that's it. I remember there being over $200 in metal alone. And wow. Okay, you ready for this price opportunity? I can't read my own writing, which is probably to your benefit. I want it to sell, and it should sell straight away. Again, what I'm asking is what one of the diamonds would sell for. How's this grab you? I will take for the entire piece only $1,175. I know Johan's looking at me because he's up there on the camera. He's all the time seeing what this stuff goes for. Yeah, right. What did you mind? What did you think?
5.
I was going to say 4. Yeah. Wow. So he thought 5,000, and you know what? He's probably actually closer, because I'm kind of out of touch with some of this, than my $4,000 estimate. Yeah. Because if you break them down and look at the quality of each one, absolutely. You're right. The middle stone, like I said, would be worth the entire amount easily at $1,175. So if you have 3 of those at $1,175, right there, that's $3,500 going down the middle. You have at scrap $200, $3,700 to size. So yeah, you're right. It puts it well over 4. You're right. You're closer than I was. Good job on you there, mate. I know. That shows you just how crazy. Oh my time is up. let me see if there was, I think there was one more item. Did I want to, real quick here. And, okay, so yeah, let me show this. Looks like item number 1213824. 1213824. And this will give you a choice between the, I probably got the wrong bag when I priced those. Okay, so here we go. Here is another opportunity on some lapis. And look at those. So these I'm selling again, an individual strand, like those others. Now the price was individually for individual. So these are hand ground. It's old stock. There's approximately, or am I selling? I think I'm selling all these as one. Now those 8 millimeters, remember, were priced individually, but yeah, wow, 75 inches. So I am selling all of these as one strand. I can make a tornado with them too. I know, girls, you're laughing at me at home. Torado, I don't know, whatever that's called. But I managed to go my whole life without knowing what it's called when you twist those beads up. So it looks pretty cool doing that. Anyway, these, look at the quality. There is almost, well, you want a little pyrite in them, and calcite is okay, but look at this, And I tested these as well. No dyeing, no treatment. So I'm selling the entire, all 5 strands, 75 inches worth of lapis for $48. That would be one. That would be one. This would be one strand for $48. What if I lost my mind? $48. What am I doing at home when I come over these prices? And I come here and reality hits. I don't know. But no wonder Kevin said that all your beads sold out. All 5 of those strands that doesn't even make sense. Oh, that's a gorgeous shot right there. Okay, so give me 1 second. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Certainly no money made there. That should be, well, I don't know. It should be a lot of things, but it should be $48 for all. Okay. You know what? Wait, let me look right over here. Oh, wait. There was something. Hold on. Behind me. Oh, see, I told you I was going to pull that off. I told you I was going to do it every time. Okay, that's it. Let's wrap it up. I'll be back with trivia. Asif was kind enough to take the time to set this up. It was an important piece I wanted to show. I am showing the back of it first because if you can see correctly, what you can read right there across the top is, even better. Asif's the man. Mikimoto.
Still see lights on it.
Mikimoto.
Angle your loop down. There you go.
And to know that you have, beautiful. To know that you have a true Mikimoto piece, you need to see everything that you're looking at right now. So you see K Mikimoto at the top, and then below it, on the left-hand side, well, let's start with the right so you know where I'm talking about. It's easy to see the S. That is how Mikimoto marked his pieces that were silver with an S. To the left of that, there is a shell cartouche.
Keep going.
A shell cartouche with, there we go. There we have it. Asif, you're awesome. That's why he directed me through 30 episodes of the how-to videos, which you need. Okay, there, everything is Tokyo even. Everything. K Mikimoto, Tokyo underneath. Then you see the S on the right-hand side, and on the left you see the M inside a shell cartouche. Why am I starting on the back before you even know what the piece is? It's because of knockoffs. It's because if you don't buy it from the right person, place, you will get ripped off. It's easy to do. If trademarks are, that is awesome job. If trademarks are not easily and perfectly readable, they throw the piece away, like Tiffany and Company. If it is a bad stamp, well, that is where all the value is. So that's how you can tell a piece that has been knocked off. It's if the Mikimoto isn't fully legible, or if it does not have everything you see right now. K.Mikimoto, Tokyo, underneath. Remember, Mikimoto started the pearl business in the 20s. Then the cartouche of the M, wow, within a shell, which you can see the shell right there. And then the S for silver. That is what, there you go, right there. There you go, everything you need. Now, look at how well the pin is actually made and the catch. It is a design that is only done by people that know quality. So let me show you. Look at that. A seahorse. This is a piece from the 1950s. Certainly, of course, a state. But look at the quality of the pearls. Being Mikimoto, they are about as good as they get. This item I am offering at a fraction of what you'll find it for anywhere else. And the only one, it's the only Mikimoto piece I have had for years and years and years and years and years. And I've hung on to it. I am offering this for only $278. $278 lonely only dollars. That is a true collector's piece. And Mikimoto items are hard to find and come by. All right, thank you, Asif. Let's do the trivia. Is everybody ready? 3 questions. And maybe I'll do the what am I again next week, because I actually enjoy that as well. I enjoy that. And I think it is a great learning tool. Question number 1. But so are these questions, because when I come up with them, they're important questions that you need to know. And this first one has to do with that diamond pendant. If you don't know how to recognize different cuts of a diamond, then you can't properly evaluate an age of a piece. You can't properly evaluate the value of a piece. Both, of course, extremely important, especially age. Now, if you have a modern, brilliant cut diamond in what's supposed to be an estate piece, what's supposed to be a Victorian piece, you can know then that it's not, that someone's telling you a fib. Or if it's just a particular one diamond and the rest may be old mine cut, then maybe that diamond fell out and was replaced. But if someone is trying to sell you an item that they're saying is prior to, basically, let's go by the late 1940s. They came up with a transitional cut, which is difficult to recognize, but if you had that next to the modern brilliant, you would know. That's why I call it transitional. Between the European cut and the modern American brilliant, which didn't come out until the 50s. So if they're trying to tell you something is a Art Deco piece, or something is a Victorian piece, or Edwardian, which was 1911, 1910, in that range, and you see that all the culettes, there's no open culettes, and if you see other things that tell you it's not an old cut diamond, then you know it's not an old piece. So let me ask the question. Name 3 differences in an old mine cut compared to a round brilliant. There's more than 3, but just 3 differences. And you can mention something that I didn't even mention if you know it. But I know I mentioned 3 specifically, the 3 important ones. So name 3 differences in an old mine cut compared to a round brilliant. Second question, what does the Greek word Hessen, now Penny, tough to pull one over on her on this one, but what does the Greek word Hessen refer to in Hessenite? So there's often a lot of information when gemstones are named correctly. You know what a stickler I am. I think the name should provide useful information. And of course, my favorite of all time is probably cavensite, that beautiful blue mineral, because Ca for calcium, Va for vanadium, Si for silicon. It tells you in the name all 3 elements in cavensite. That is useful. Other times, named after somebody isn't usually very useful unless it's something important. Like, I think the word kunzite gives you information, you know, that the gemologist Frederick Kunz had something to do with finding it. As morganite, has a whole story of morganite as well. Things like that. But Hessenite and the word Hessen actually is one of those very informational names. Hence my question, what does the Greek word Hessen refer to in Hessenite? Number 3, and this also is something that you need to know because it will show your general knowledge, and it's something that a lot of people don't know because you have not seen. How many Trapiche emeralds have you seen? And some people say Trapiche. Trapiche, I think, is probably the word proper use, but close enough. I hear Trapiche used, I know what they're talking about. So, Trapiche comes from what item? So, of course, you know what a Trapiche emerald looks like, or a Trapiche emerald looks like. What does the name or word Trapiche come from or refer to? And that's it. 3 questions and easy ones, right? Of course, no going back and looking at the show once you get to the trivia part. But you can watch the show as many times as you want. We do the trivia at the end, so you can do that and then do the trivia. And I appreciate everybody playing by the honor system. And I hope you enjoyed today's show. I showed some really neat things. I hope you can get your pocketbook out or smash that piggy bank, because these, like I said, the further we go in time, you're seeing really cool treasures that I'm bringing out. And there's more to come. You're going to be really excited. You're going to be really excited. More to come. Probably one of my best items for all of you today that I offer, those diamonds. That is a unusual and not too common, and I was glad that I found them that 5 of you could take advantage of. Okay, so I've already used up more of Asif's time than I should have. I hope all of you enjoyed the show as much as I did. Happy Halloween to all of you, and I will look forward to seeing you, I guess, Monday. And after that, it's going to be November already. Wow. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. God bless all of you. Stay safe and get out and enjoy this weather. And remember, walk on Mother Earth. Don't let your feet just step on the concrete sidewalk, step out of the car into the driveway, concrete driveway. You know, it's okay to walk across the grass. It will ground you to Mother Earth. And everything we have comes from Mother Earth. And she needs to be appreciated. And by never stepping on that ground, and eyes down, as Anthony says, because that is where the treasures are. Eyes on the ground, and it will ground you to Mother Earth when you step on that beautiful, beautiful ground that holds nothing but elements that we need every day to exist. Look on the back of your vitamin bottle and see how many more elements you're familiar with now and have a greater appreciation for what they do relative to gemstones. From chromium that's in the vitamins to magnesium to, I mean, I see some things on there, it's like, wow, I didn't know that was a needed. And it's like, how cool is that? So, I hope you get as much out of this show as I get by sharing with you. It keeps my brain sharp. Take care. See you Monday.